Something from last time.
You are now live.
Oh, and hey,
Cool.
thank you so much
Cool.
for the steak. I think that really helped.
Good.
Yes.
Good. Welcome.
Hi, Dave.
It's March 5th, 6th.
Good.
Hi, Chad.
Good. Cinco de March.
Anyway, welcome to the March Omaha Linux User Group meeting. Let's see, we usually do a few news items. The only one that I really know is that
I was trying to do side by side.
Linus has finally said it's time to have 5.
I hadn't knew.
And then was completely, after that said, but it doesn't really matter. So, let's see. I will put a 30-second, or not, I'll put a 10-second plug in. If you're looking for the place where I work is looking for admins. See me afterwards. What else is going on?
Mirror and lower left.
Okay, upcoming events. John?
Thanks, Dave. Today in weather. Infotech's coming up on the 1st and 2nd. First is a workshop day, like Certified Scrum Master. Second day is all the presentations. You can get to infotech.org to get that information. Sign up. Thanks.
All right. Aaron, when is the Nebraska CERT for March?
This Wednesday. Wednesday, a couple weeks from now, like 20th, yes.
Okay. And will this be at Johnny's?
Yes, it'll be Johnny's. And we're going to read the one we canceled in February. We're going to reschedule for April down at Elk University. The guy from the FBI is going to be talking. It's going to be Jake Boyles. Really good.
I didn't even know you guys canceled. I was really mad that I couldn't get down there. Good. That makes me happy. All right. KernelCon is Friday and Saturday, April 5th and April 6th.
Yes.
I will be there.
Are you speaking or just?
No, I'm learning.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there you go.
All right. KernelCon. Does that work? Is it .org?
Yes.
.org.
Oh, how embarrassing. That's not good.
Can you get that QR code right there on the video? All right.
Who's All right.
Connect to Oz tomorrow, or Connect to Oz Friday, you know.
This is my monthly plea and invitation to speak before the Omaha Linux Users Group. Right now, we've got openings probably from May on. I've got a couple that I'm going to probably come back through during the summertime. We don't have anybody from May, so if you would like to talk to the group, please let me know. And with that, I will introduce our speaker. And I'm going to mangle his last name. I think it's Teal Sloterdijk. Sloterdijk. All right. And here he goes.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Teal.
So today, I'm still kind of high on the excitement of, yay, I got a job. And that's what, 7 months, wow.
When do you go?
I have to get my security clearance. So probably in another month.
Time.
Yeah, I got plenty of time. I might be able to make KernelCon.
Might.
Oh, yes, they are.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I've also submitted a challenge that I made to DEF CON. It's like a network diagramming challenge. We give you a couple different scenarios, and you have to make a diagram of a network that reflects that scenario. I've done it at some of the DC groups meetups, Chattanooga, Knoxville, Nashville, Freaknik. Freaknik was a fun one, and had some pretty good results. So I'm hoping that they approve it. That'd be great. So today, one of my favorite tools is Ansible. Ansible is great. You can control all the things. You can configure all the things. You can make all the things. So that's my presentation. Who am I? I'm Teal, Linux engineer. I have all the tools. I know many languages, including Perl, Bash, Python, Ruby, PHP, C++, and English. My distribution of choice is Ubuntu. Other days it's Gentoo. 13 years into Linux as a career. My tools work best when they make my job easy. Google es mi amigo, mucho gusto. RTFM. Usually logged in as root. I run application as their own user. Very rarely do you ever see me logged in as a non-root user. I know a lot of people in forums and stuff say, "Oh my God, you run root." So a little bit about me. In 2013, a little bit about me that has to do with my usage of Ansible. So 2013, I made an analog of Ansible because I didn't know of Ansible. It's called Boise, and it was written in Ruby. I made it to manage multiple deployments, the biggest being for Boise State University. The whole for host and cat systems do for command and cat commands do SSH host command C command done was too complicated to explain to people to use outside of me. The system wasn't perfect, but it made managing, patching, deploying, and updating multiple systems easy. 2015, I learned of Ansible, scrapped Boise, and started using it. 2016, I worked for a retail company and managed an entire Linux fleet with Ansible. Made it a point to bring their switches, routers, and controllers onto Ansible, but that never panned out due to pushback. I also tried to convince them to let me do an Ansible instance for the Windows machines it stores. Also received pushback from that. 2018, I made infrastructure in a box kit, and it used Ansible at the core. This was to demonstrate how easy it was to set up and use. I used it for many talks that I gave for the DEF CON groups. Of course, that was on loaned hardware, so I gave it up, and somebody else has it now. So a little bit about Ansible. Ansible is a framework that can be used to manage deployments of systems. I went digging back through GitHub. The initial commit was by Michael D. Hand on February 23rd of 2012, though Wikipedia says the 20th. The latest commit was 19 minutes ago. I wrote that like last week, 2 weeks ago. Ansible is written in Python. The name Ansible comes from a book by Orson Scott Card called Ender's Game. In the book, they used a quantum network of interconnectedness throughout the universe called the Ansible, which could relay messages from one end to the other in a mesh style instantly. Reminds me of mycelium, the way it was described in the story. Red Hat acquired the supporting company in 2015. Their plan was to make a central management system that they could sell to their customers who love to spend money. They call this product Ansible Tower. I'm sure many of you are familiar with that. Ansible is agentless, which means that you don't need an agent installed on the client. The only dependencies on the client are Python and SSH. It's great for people like me who are minimalists and don't want to go through dependency hell. Ansible can be run, used to run single commands using the Ansible command or entire sets of scripts using the Ansible playbook command. Centralized Ansible server is extremely easy to set up, or you can use Ansible Tower, which is provided by Red Hat. Ansible centralized server could be a security risk if not properly secured. This is something that I emphasize a lot. If this machine does have the keys to the kingdom, so if somebody compromises it, they're root on all your machines. And that makes a great use for atomically secured Linux. If any of you guys have ever used that, it's definitely a high recommendation for your Ansible box. Ansible has modules that allow it to connect to more than just servers running SSH. You can connect to Cisco, Aruba, Palo Alto, Windows, F5, and Docker devices. I provided a link there that takes you to the list of all the modules for connecting all kinds of devices. They even have things for AWS and Docker.
What's the URL to your slides, please?
I don't have this up on any thing, but here, I'll click that link and show you what comes up.
It's okay.
We'll get into that later. I have another link further.
It's okay. You're doing great.
All right. So Ansible has different modules that make setting up your system easy. They've got package management modules, which are both agnostic and flavor specific. Now, the problem with the agnostic ones is, as we know, across distributions, things are named different things. Like, for instance, Apache. In the CentOS Red Hat world, it's HTTPD. In the Debian Ubuntu world, it's Apache 2. And Windows, they have their own notation that we're not even going to get into. But yeah, so that's why I like doing if statements, which we'll get into later if we're trying to figure out what distro we're using. It's got user management tools, so it gives you a whole modules for adding users, groups, setting access control, setting permissions on files, folders, applications, stuff like that. It's got configuration management tools, which lets you edit files, place default config files, and ability to run configuration commands. Basically, you've got a folder, you throw in all your Apache configs, all your load balancer configs, your database configs in there, and when it goes out to the machine, it checks to see if it's got the latest version of that file. If not, it goes and puts it. All this is behind the scenes. You just tell it what file and where. It's got a database module for setting up databases. So when you use package module to install MySQL, you can go in with the MySQL module and say, hey, let's go and do the MySQL secure setup. Let's go and add a couple of users. Let's set some permissions for some databases, stuff like that. It's got source controls for your favorite version control systems like Git and SVN. We all know when you set up an application server, the first thing you want to do is git pull, git checkout. And it's also got ad hoc commands, so you can write quick and dirty shell scripts. It's the command module. There's also the shell module and the bash module. That way you can just make your your ugly, nasty one-liners and run them across your fleet. Ansible playbooks are written in YAML. I'm not going to explain YAML. That'll probably take an hour or 2 hours.
Mind the spacing.
Yes, definitely mind the spacing. Spaces, not tabs. Dashes for arrays. But I'm not going to explain YAML. You can do for loop, if statements, and work with lists. That makes life easier for multiple things without having to write redundant code. Ansible gathers facts on the associated systems before it runs these playbooks. There's an add-on called CMDB, which allows you to view these facts. So whenever you run an Ansible command, you'll see it saying gather facts on all the machines associated. And the CMDB is great because it gives you a web interface that you can use for compliance purposes. You can make your lists and stuff for your auditor on that. It shows the operating system version, the package versions, when the last time it was accessed and by who, all that fun stuff. And you can perform if statements based on the facts. If system version this, do that. If this installed, do that, else do this. If hostname not equal host, do this. Once again, CMDB is great for compiling lists for the sake of audits. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with audits, and people are like, well, what's on your network? Well, here, let's just get a report from CMDB. Yeah, have fun. For loops. So I decided I was going to give the details of how to do certain things. For loops is one of the most common things I do. A great example is for installing packages. As you can see here, with items is how you do your for loop, and you can set up your different packages, Vim, Emacs, Apache 2, MySQL Server, and then you can say install packages, and then for each one, it uses that as a variable. You can use if statements to put logic into your Ansible playbooks using the Win keyboard. So this is one I grabbed off the Ansible site. Shut down the Debian system. So it goes through your entire list of hosts. You put an asterisk for hosts, and it only shuts down the ones where the fact of OS family is Debian. And then you can also group them and or not, and make long lines of things. So if you say OS family is Debian and version is 7 and group is web servers and not database servers, run this. User manipulation, I figured this one was important for those who don't use LDAP. Here, this is an example of how to use the user module. You can set all the things that you would usually put when you run the command, and you set them in array notation. And of course, you can do this with the for loops that I showed you earlier, so you can add a whole bunch of users at the same time. What can go wrong? As we said earlier, someone can take over your Ansible machine and have peace of the kingdom. This means you better secure your Ansible box like your life and the well-being of your organization depends on it. As I said before, a great application for atomically secure Linux, ASL. Thanks. Woo! That was a lot quicker than I thought.
Nervous?
Yeah, do you guys want to see some examples of usage?
Yes, please.
All right, cool. So I'm going to pull up my Linux Academy account, and they have this nice lab that I really like. That's Alex Jones. This is a funny video. I'm just not going to play it because we've got Ethan here.
We also have a young child here.
That's what I mean. You.
Okay.
I don't disagree with that.
For a minute there, I thought Ansible broke the internet.
Didn't like my login. By the way, this is not an advertisement for Linux Academy, but this is a great little platform. They give you a dashboard on AWS, Azure. You can spin up a couple machines, and their classes are actually pretty decent.
So you're a happy customer.
Definitely.
Me too.
I've heard good things about Udemy and Coursera, but I've never tried them.
There's always cyber IT for those of us who are bored.
Really?
Oh, they don't have a spinnable machine, but they all online training.
That's nice. Cyber IT.
Cyberary. CYBRARY. IT. Yeah.
Yeah, put that out of us for those of us that are poor.
Yes.
Yeah, no, Linux Academy is definitely not for those who are poor. It's quite expensive. I bought mine on Black Friday.
What, $300 a year or something? If you bought it on Black Friday, and that's like $500 or something.
It's insanely
Well,
expensive.
you get VMs and stuff.
Yeah.
80 part machines. It's really quite nice. I've got an account.
So cyber that you can't pronounce is free.
Yes, it's all free. If you want to get like the certificates and stuff, you have to pay. It's kind of Bill Brain Bench thing. Remember back in the
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I thought brain benches. Hilarious.
We were just
actually
actually
talking
having
about
a
actually anybody else want to make any sense.
conversation earlier about
that.
different places to go to do online training or coding and things like that.
I think you should. That sounds really good.
Maybe in May.
Maybe June.
I believe we're talking about kids' resources
Oh.
and how one formerly free site is now paid for. I'm trying to remember where it was.
Scratch.
No, it's not Scratch. It's not code.org.
Scratch isn't free?
No, it's free.
No. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's not one. Really like that.
Code Academy.
Oh.
Oh, Code Academy, that's right. They did make that non-free. I learned Ruby on there. Let's try to figure it out.
How much was your Black Friday Linux Academy?
$299.
$10.99.
No, it's $299.
Okay.
A year. But that's a recurring fee, supposedly.
Oh, that's the lifetime price? If you
I mean,
get it like-
$299 plus a year of doing it.
So when I started into that, it was like 25 a month. Then I got a Black Friday, I got a cheaper one than 2 years ago. I got a Black Friday. Like 160. And they let me renew it.
Teal, would it help if you were looking for courses that you had started already?
No,
Like,
this
like
is
if you're looking for a specific course.
courses. I keep doing hands-on labs.
Oh. Well, same thing. Would it be easier if you looked by ones that you had started already?
Yeah, that's probably that's true.
So have you played with a cross-platform between a Mac or Windows and stuff like that? 'Cause
Huh?
have you played with Ansible cross-platform at all? Or just,
Yeah, I've done Ansible on Windows and a bunch of networking hardware like Cisco, Aruba, HP. Of course, they never let me take it into production because they were scared. Oh, it's gonna make downtime if you mess something up.
True.
There is a completed further down on the page you're at.
Here, I'm just gonna pull up. I'm just gonna do this from scratch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so remember I was telling you about the interfaces they give you. They give you AWS and Google.
Wow.
I know, it's great.
You only use them for,
You know,
class,
I've been
or-
working on some projects and I've seriously been contemplating spinning up some heavy machines in there.
Well, even if it's a lightweight machine, you can use it for a hobby project.
Yeah.
That's fun.
They monitor according to this thing.
What was it basically?
There you
But it'll hold the, when you configure it, as long as you touch it.
go. That is really nice.
I think almost 40 days right now.
Nice.
Excuse me, there's 10 test plus open channel, when you do their hacking contest.
And they enter you for a chance to win
What's your project?
John,
Yes.
I can't believe you buried the lead on Infotech. You got an astronaut coming.
Yes, we have an astronaut.
Yeah, you should mention that when you're.
Oh, I still can.
Yeah.
Dr. No, Garrett Reisman, keynote speaker.
Yeah.
Senior advisor at SpaceX.
Is he still, I thought he was.
Infotech. It says he is currently a professor of astronautical engineering at USC and a senior advisor at SpaceX. Watch the launch for the Crew Dragon and the docking, the zero gravity indicator.
I was half expecting Musk to be in that suit.
Surprise! We don't have any food for you.
Forever.
Launch failed. Retried.
Oh, free usage share that.
So you don't write in Python Advancable, you write in this YAML.
Yeah.
Okay. So is there like a way to unit test your YAML?
Yeah, on your dev cluster.
Okay, all right. So do I know?
So if you've got money for a dev cluster, you're probably pretty good.
Yeah.
If not, you're doing it live.
I was never a huge fan of the syntax in general. I mean, but I was kind of like hoping it'd be like a much more bash looking syntax. It'd be kind of nice just to have just do every word. I don't know why you wouldn't start with bash. Because the world runs on bash.
I love
poorly, but it runs on bash.
Wearing a ZSH shirt.
Yeah, I love bash, but sometimes I like ZSH
That's
for
called
the
shaking
globs
it
and
up.
stuff. But I like bash because that's my daily driver.
It looks like there's a whole bunch of
They didn't.
talk about unit testing in the Ansible docs too. Is that all just?
I've never done unit
Yes.
testing. I just tested in dev.
That's fine. Okay. That's legit. That's fine now.
There's a whole world of things you can do in Ansible.
All right.
You can have it. You can sample machines, stuff like that. You can actually put like different things and sort of try and upgrade like these three there in the load balancer, see how the results compare. You can run all sorts of tests against them to figure out how they handle the new updates and stuff like that.
Nice.
There's a lot of stuff you can do with it. I mean, it's a very powerful tool. I mean, they also have a version of the agent. There's also an agent version of it now too, but I haven't looked at that at all. What I always liked about it was SSH agentless and reasonably light compared to there's a company in town that I know of that's got like 5 different monitoring tools all in their system. Zabbix, SolarWinds, and a bunch of others. I mean, it's like, never is so little activity that's measured so much.
They want me in a different.
One of the things we're using at Ansible right now is STIGs.
Ooh, that's exciting.
There's a STIG role provided by Red Hat.
That's nice.
You just plug the machine in there and run it in there, and supposedly it will fix it all up. Of course, you still need to go to that.
Yeah. Awesome.
They have stakes for Rails 7?
Yeah.
That does sound interesting. So you can take a box and you do Rails 7 development on, or a Rails 7 app and run it against Stigs to tighten up your app. Is that what you're saying?
And for the host OS, yeah.
You said in Rails.
There we go.
Rails, all set.
Rails
Rails. No one's crazy.
I thought he said Rails.
I was all excited because you said Rails.
All right.
Red Hat
I didn't
Enterprise.
think you were arrogant enough to be a Rails developer.
I'm working on it, man.
I've made some Rails apps before. They're nice because
Special kind of person to be a Rails.
I'm working on it. I do my applications every day.
rapid application development is great for non-productive systems. All right.
So I write good code, and darn it, people like it.
That's right.
Don't you realize how awesome I am?
No, I didn't
I
want
take
that.
the specs to the programmers.
That's
wrong. I can't believe that 20th anniversary was a couple weeks for that.
No, really?
A couple weeks ago, I know. I always say at the theater with my mom and dad, they did not understand it the way I did. I was like, you don't understand.
You know, I got a guy at work who has never watched it, and we keep talking about it. And he's like, you don't do that sometimes.
It's a team album waiting to happen.
Just keep calling them lumber, eventually they'll.
Why are you calling me lumber?
A place in town I knew, there was a guy who referred to as a security guy as Officer Bar Rating. He never watched South Park, so everyone looked it up. He was not happy.
What's the default Amazon? Cloud user? No, AWS. All these default usernames. Let's see. Let's see who user.
You just fix.
So, how do shops still use Red Hat Internet Edition 6? Right.
Are you sure 7 is more secure than 6?
I have no idea.
Show us. You can show us.
I'm just saying, why would the shop still be on 6 when 7's out?
Legacy is on 5.
Legacy,
Really?
legacy apps.
Okay, okay.
Well, we were reporting to the logic 12 at the time, so it
Yes.
wasn't that.
All my muscle members still works.
Okay.
By the way, I know people running
Better
five.
if that's
I can
possible.
type status if you have a banner and stuff.
The time had written to 7 halfway through last year.
Okay.
So.
Just in time, break.
So I like sandboxes. I don't like Java, but I like sandboxes. So I use virtual environment on Python for fun,
Nice.
and I use pip.
Maybe you just go put 3, don't you? Oh, there you go.
What?
Is it picture of pip 3?
Just right there.
Why did it kill my? Well, I need to install that Python dependency first.
So why would you use Puppet instead of Ansible?
If you want an agent.
Okay.
I've used Puppet a few times, and I've used Chef a few times.
Free or paid?
Free. I'm an open source
Big
person.
difference now.
And honestly, I like Ansible better. I think Chef is written in Ruby.
It also depends on what you're trying to do, because the nice thing about Puppet is
The standalone mode.
it'll keep running, it'll keep it the way you told it to keep it.
More for like integration that you over Ansible.
Yeah, if it breaks, it'll fix itself when you talk to it.
You can fix it with Ansible too, but you just gotta.
Right.
You gotta rerun the break with Ansible too.
So it also depends on other users in your community, what they do. They monitor after they change, like, oh, okay. Wait, I'm out of here, I gotta. Instead of waiting, so you wanna wait until it actually starts.
What with the CTO?
What have you read about last in the magazine?
All right, cool. So the easiest way to install Ansible is pip install Ansible. Otherwise, you can just download. You can go to their GitHub and clone the repo and do the pip install -r and then go through all dependencies and wonder whether or not they've put an unstable code in. There you go. So let's go ahead and find us some good little playbooks to run on them, or even better, let's make some code. So let's bring up the documentation. It's always good to do side by side with your documentation. So here's how you do the host. It's in a INI configuration file format. The square brackets represent your groups. That way you can have, as you see here, your web servers, your DB servers, your load balancers. And then when you run your Ansible playbooks, you can filter them based on those groups. Or in your playbooks, you can just set it on this group, run this, on this group, run that, and then you can set up your web servers, your databases, and your application servers all in one shot. So we'll go ahead and go and get those URLs, take the addresses. Yeah. Oh, and you can run it on itself. Oops. Oh, I'm just live. So we'll go ahead and put that one in too. Okay, let's put that in a group. Generic name. And let's go and grab look, the second thing to come up there was Mac setup and configuration. So yes, you can use it for your Macs.
Ooh, very nice.
Should you?
Makes me want to buy a Mac.
I love my Mac. I just wish it would run Linux natively. Well, Quartz is a very nice display. Don't get me wrong.
That's good.
See what they've got here. Oh wow, cool! They've got IRC, mail servers, news own cloud. You can with a quick GitHub search, you can find.
So if you want to do a playbook that like sets up, say, Rails with Postgres, could you do that?
Yeah, let's look Rails with Postgres.
Also, Galaxy.
What's Galaxy?
Galaxy is the repository for lots and lots and lots of playbooks.
Nice. I didn't know that.
All right. So here's the entry point for that one. You can see they do it by groups. And then they run the different roles. So roles is a set of things to do for each thing, like your web servers, that one's got your Ruby environment, et cetera, et cetera.
So I can take this playbook and like run it on my Windows.
Well, I don't recommend just running code off of GitHub raw.
Okay.
Definitely look at it and make sure they're not making backdoors in your system.
Okay.
I've come across a few playbooks where they do some shady stuff like that. Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and send them all that key.
So it's very common to mix vagrant and Ansible together?
I have seen people use Vagrant. So in the post processors of Vagrant, you can set up your Ansible stuff to run on it before you package it. What? Oh. Yeah, you do as many things. Yeah, it looks like I'm going through so many layers of abstraction here. So I learned a command the other day. It was like key stitch.
It's just a copy of
Yeah. Copy.
it's a dash I.
And
If there's no directory, then it may not be able to copy it.
let's find that.
You can say Ansible Galaxy and just do things.
With Galaxy, I don't, is that the standalone?
Oh,
Galaxy is it's a repository.
Oh, you know it, that's right.
seems to work.
No.
In the target, is there a SSH directory?
What? Mention that. Okay. No. Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Do a dash V on the SSH.
Wish it would just let you log in at root and shit.
So, I this would be, one thing about that. Is there still?
That's so weird.
So,
Oh. Okay, that is the wrong name. Alright, there we
So you
go.
don't have to run Ansible as root, you can just run it as.
I usually make it as user Ansible, but I didn't want to go and make the user run these all as root. As I said before, I like living dangerously.
So I found this, it was okay if I asked you any questions?
Yeah, sure.
I like this thing called SonarQube, because I'm a Java programmer. And so I ran the Ansible Galaxy install LRK SonarQube, and it worked. But now, how do I figure out how to start SonarQube?
So I'm guessing it maybe gave you a systemd script, and you can make a playbook that says system control start SonarQube.
Okay.
You can do that as a raw command, or you can use a systemd stuff. Say copy ID 2. Is there a list here? Alright, permission denied, I didn't like that. Alright, let's go back and try to do this again. Here, we're just gonna use this as ECT to save an extra whole step of using root. So let's go ahead and do our virtual maybe Ansible. That makes a folder called Ansible and gives us a system activate script. And we say source then activate and pip3 install and one thing that's going to make this possible, and why I usually just use user Ansible and put that user in the admin or the wheel group, is Ansible gives you a method of escalating called game privilege. Become method. Become, and you can use sudo or su or whatever method you prefer. Let's go ahead and Yeah. Oh, shit. No, I don't even need to do that. I'm over here being RTD2. I forgot they already have that key already in it. Let's go ahead and fix that. Machines. Ansible. Let's find out. Let's see. Let's read the shell. Ansible minus A and so I'm going to do a standalone run on all the machines. And right. Sorry, I haven't really run this in, but host, let's host, subset, inventory, that's it, manifest. Smash. And then our subset is L machine. Oh, right? Here's a capital L. Oh, okay. Code inventory file. What is this? Am I doing this wrong? Yeah. All right. He wants me to go and trade keys with them. All right. There's a different way to do this, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but you can go and add that to our host file. Now let's go ahead. Yeah.
Hey, John, can you close up for us?
All right, cool. So I just ran the uptime command on them all. So that's for more ad hoc commands. Is an Ansible command. Go ahead and grab a playbook. Should have made a bunch of playbooks for this. Take care.
Thank you, Teal.
Bye, Brady.
In a couple weeks.
Yeah, I'll see you soon.
Why don't any of them have the actual just playbook? All right, so we'll just go ahead and write a playbook. Right, there we go. Okay. Okay. Okay, cool. So a little run view of what's going here. We filter based, so remember we gave the group machine. We're going to tell it to log in as EC2 user, become true, default, become as it is sudo. Our project root here is bar HTML. Here is where it copies it from our current directory to where it's supposed to go on the machine, who's supposed to own it, the group permissions. So each of these is a task. Here's where it goes in and yum installs. Here's where it copies that index file. Here's where it enables it using systemd, system control. And then after it's done and installed, it's going to go ahead and restart it.
So what's the become true one more time?
So become is how it goes from EC2 user to root.
Okay, thank you.
And let me clarify this real quick. Default become another, and that should be. So as I said in my presentation before, the Ansible documentation is very, very thorough. I haven't even made it all the way through. Become User become method. Set the pseudo, yeah. So let's go ahead and run this. So Ansible playbooks is how you run these playbooks, and we're going to say playbook slash install HTTP. We're going to tell it our inventory file is and then we're going to say machine. All right, so there it is. It's gathering facts. It makes sure that everything's up. Now it's doing it task by task. It's installing. Ooh. Not finding it. Index
Could not find index HTML.
files. Okay, I put it in the wrong place. So it keeps track of your state, so it knows that Apache's been installed, so it's not going to try to go in and reinstall it. So let's go ahead and run it again. All right, so it is up. Now I might have to go in and open this port in the EC2, or we can just try it. What'd you do?
The double click thought it was, and it pasted the info.
That makes my thing pad. Yeah, let's go ahead. Over here are security groups. They're in default. And then here, edit them down and we'll I think that's our security group, right? CF7. CF7 security group. Contribute to. Okay. And we'll save. There we go. And just for the hell of it, run host and cat test to curl. Well, and there it is for all of them. Woohoo! So that's Ansible. Ansible is great for configuration management. Sorry, I'm a little bit rusty. It's been a while. Yeah, but you can also do different groups. So you have your load balancer. You'll have one machine off to the side that's serving the requests for all of them, so that you don't have people directly hitting your web servers, your application servers, your database servers. But I don't think security is in the scope of this talk. Thanks for being here. Let's go down and spin these machines down, and I'll hand it over to whoever wants to.
Some tacos.
I have down for some tacos.
Right. Thanks, Teal, everybody.
Thanks for having me. Hey, by the way, this is my first talk ever. So, well, actually, sorry, I had a few talks. Never mind.
First talk here.
Yes, first talk
There you
here.
go.
So we'll be adjourning and going next door.
Oh,
Next
and
meeting is-
you guys want that PowerPoint presentation with all its glorious links?
Yes.
All right.
Weed it out.
They'll find the list.
I can do that.
Hold on the list.
Yes.
They'll find the list. Our next meeting, when?
April 2nd, here,
And I might make it.
the night of Infotech.
Is this the right email? OLUG?
Did you want to see that? OLUG@olug.org.
All right.
Nice.
I will stop the broadcast. Goodbye, everybody.